You ever feel like you've bumped into some character who's a total puzzle, right? Like they're giving off this vibe of knowing way more than they should, but they're all closed off, like, don't even try to get close. They feel for you, big time, but try to cross them and bam, it's like hitting a brick wall. You might just be looking at a Sigma INFJ, which, let me tell you, is a head trip. It's so rare, so out of left field, most folks just throw their hands up. Forget those dumb personality tests. Today, we ain't just skimming the top. We're diving in headfirst to try and figure out why the Sigma INFJ psyche is so incredibly hard to understand. So hang on tight, because this is going to get weird. Firstly, let's dissect the calculated compassion cutoff. We all know INFJs for their profound, almost psychic empathy, right? But strap in, because the Sigma INFJ wields this empathy like a scalpel, not a blanket. They can, and absolutely will, strategically sever emotional connections if they intuit that connection will become an energetic black hole or fundamentally clash with their core principles. And here's the kicker. They often do it without the agonizing, prolonged guilt trips or dramatic door slams you might expect from a typical INFJ. To outsiders, it looks shockingly cold, almost ruthless. But for the Sigma INFJ, it's radical self-preservation fused with a chillingly accurate forecast of future emotional cost. It's not about malice. It's about proactively neutralizing a threat to their inner world or their mission. Does this shatter your image of the ever-gentle INFJ? It should. It's just like when they say they want you to be yourself, but then get mad when you are. Secondly, let me lay this one on you. Purpose over people. Ain't that a kick in the head? See, these INFJs, they're all about the deep stuff, right? Meaningful connections, like it's in their frickin' blood. But here's the kicker. This Sigma INFJ, they're running every single relationship through some kind of meat grinder of a life mission. If you ain't helping them, supporting them, or God forbid, you're getting in the way of this so-called grand plan, they're going to toss you to the side. Yeah, let that sink in, pal. They ain't about social harmony, and they ain't about your feelings if you're messing with their vision. It ain't that they hate people, it's just they're so damn dedicated to something they think is bigger than everyone else. Ever feel like you were playing second fiddle to something you can't even see? Welcome to the Sigma INFJ experience. Thirdly, there's this gem, the illusion of apathy as armor. You see that Sigma INFJ looking cool, detached, maybe even a little indifferent? Don't be fooled, pal. That apparent apathy is often a highly sophisticated, consciously constructed suit of armor protecting their hypersensitive INFJ core. They've learned, often the hard way, that exposing the full, torrential force of their internal feeling world is an invitation for pain, misunderstanding, or exploitation. So they project this carefully curated aura of not caring to safeguard their inner sanctum. It makes them appear aloof, even unfeeling, when in reality, their internal world is a raging symphony of emotion and insight. It's a strategic illusion, and it's incredibly effective at keeping most people at bay. Fourthly, we witness the silent strategist in social hierarchies. Sigma INFJs observe social dynamics with the piercing analytical gaze of an INFJ, seeing all the games, the power plays, the unspoken rules. But here's where the Sigma kicks in. They utterly refuse to play the game in the traditional sense. This isn't passive ignorance or social awkwardness. It's a conscious, deliberate choice. They fully understand the power structures, sometimes better than those actively participating. But instead of climbing the ladder, they opt out, observing from the periphery. However, don't mistake this for powerlessness. If it aligns with their deeper principles, they can and do subtly influence outcomes from the shadows, making their non-participation a potent strategic stance, not an inability. They're not just outside the hierarchy. They're often silently assessing and sometimes even nudging it. Fifthly, consider their unspoken moral absolutism. Deep within the Sigma INFJ operates an incredibly rigid, internally forged moral code. Think INFJ's future-focused intuition, NI, combined with their own exacting internal logic, TI. This code is rarely, if ever, articulated. They just expect others to somehow intuit it, respect it, or at the very least, not blatantly violate it. When this silent, unwritten contract is breached, their reaction can seem disproportionately severe, sudden, and utterly baffling. There are no warning shots, no lengthy explanations of their intricate ethical framework. It's a you-should-have-known attitude that can leave others feeling blindsided and judged by rules they never knew existed. Controversial? Absolutely, because it challenges the notion of the patient, understanding INFJ. Sixthly, brace yourself for the old predictably unpredictable shtick. Just when you're thinking, all right, I've pinned this Sigma INFJ down, charted their course, got their coffee order down, bam! They pull a move that's out of left field. And hey, this ain't just random chaos. The Sigma side, it's cultivating unpredictability as a tool, see? Autonomy, freedom, that's the name of the game. And the INFJ, they're testing the waters, seeing who's real, who's sticking around when they zig instead of zag. They gotta see who respects the whole untethered thing. It's a constant test, subtle, you know? Keeps the phonies away and filters for those who actually dig the whole perplexing nature of the beast. Seventhly, there's this thing I call the minimalist input, maximalist output communication style. Ever been stuck in some meeting or a deep discussion where there's always that one person who's mostly mum just observing, absorbing everything, and then out of nowhere they drop a freaking bombshell of profound insight or a fully formed solution that cuts right to the heart of the matter? That's your classic Sigma INFJ right there. They can absorb staggering amounts of complex information, emotional whatever, and unspoken data with minimal interaction. They don't think out loud, see? Their internal processing, that potent NITI engine, is so fiercely efficient and deeply private that the leap from quiet observation to groundbreaking conclusion seems almost magical or jarringly abrupt to those who need to see the messy middle steps. And let me tell you, this can be incredibly intimidating, making them seem like they're pulling wisdom from thin air. Alright, check this out. Eighthly, we get to the secret of selective social energy vampirism. But get this, it's in reverse. Now here's a twist for you. We always hear about INFJs getting drained by, people. But your Sigma INFJ, they've evolved, see? They've figured out how to selectively suck up specific types of intellectual, inspirational, or even spiritual energy from, a tiny group of chosen peeps or even abstract stuff, often from a distance without them even knowing. Then they bail, retreat into their solitude to process and use this fuel. They don't drain people in a bad way, they sample the high-value energetic signatures. Their social interactions become targeted, efficient, and often leave others completely in the dark about this subtle, almost psychic, energetic thing. It's not about taking, it's about, specific strategic refueling. Ninthly, get a load of their existential detachment from societal metrics. In a world, obsessed with likes, promotions, possessions, and public acclaim, the Sigma INFJ often stands apart, genuinely unbothered. Their core identity, their sense of self-worth, is almost entirely decoupled from external validation, societal achievements, or the traditional markers of success that drive so many, While the INFJ heart can still be sensitive, the Sigma thingy creates this profound, almost unnerving detachment from needing these external things. This allows them to pursue deeply unconventional paths with unwavering conviction. But it also makes them incredibly hard to motivate, influence, or even understand, using common societal incentives. It's perplexing to those who live and breathe by external validation. Don't you want this? The world asks. And the Sigma INFJ quietly thinks, not if it costs me my soul or my mission. What a bunch of characters. And last but not least, 10th, the real kicker, the profound burden of seeing too much too soon. Now this is where it gets real for the Sigma INFJ. That souped up INFJ intuition, that nigh thing, right? It's spotting future patterns, potential outcomes, all that jazz. Mix that with the Sigma's fiercely independent, eagle-eye observational skills, and bam! They're seeing societal shifts, personal betrayals, the end of the line for some trends, way before anyone else even sniffs something's up. But hey, this ain't a magic show. It's a freaking anvil tied to their ankle. They're killing themselves trying to explain these complex, usually depressing intuitions in a way that doesn't make them sound like they're auditioning for a tinfoil hat convention. So what happens? They swallow it down, internalize the whole shebang, and retreat further into their fortress of solitude. That's why they're always ahead of the curve, but also tragically, hilariously alone with their insights. It's the Cassandra curse, cranked up to 11, thanks to their stubborn refusal to preach to a crowd that's still stuck in the Stone Age. So, what's your take, huh? Ever bump into one of these Sigma INFJ types? Or maybe you're looking in the mirror right now? Spill the beans in the comments. Let's keep this therapy session going. If this hit home, give us a like, subscribe for more of this garbage, and spread the misery to someone who's trying to figure out the human condition. Until next time, keep poking around in that beautiful mess up there.